Hey y'all, and welcome back to another episode of Sisters in Crime with Shy and Toy. I'm Toy, that's short for Latoya.
And I'm Shy, and that's short for Shamia.
And we are back with another episode, but today's gonna be slightly different. I had to reposition myself, so I do have y'all at an angle, but I think I kind of like this better because this is my best side anyway.
Oh.
But today we're gonna do something a little different. So it's not gonna specifically be a crime case, but I'm not sure if a lot of y'all were aware of a recent docuseries that aired on Netflix. It's called Victim/Suspect. And just to give a brief synopsis, it basically tells the tale of a few young ladies who reported SA to the police, and they went from being the victim to become the suspect to ultimately being arrested and having to be put in prison for allegedly filing a false report, which we'll find out that was not the case. But it really opens up a bigger conversation into DV, and this is for both men and women, because a lot of people like to think that men could not possibly be victims of DV, but they very much are. Okay, so it opens up a larger dialogue of I just feel like, what are they to do?
Right. So I think also I want to reiterate to our viewers that this is meant to be a open conversation, not about there's different circumstances that have taken place when it comes to DVSA and everything, right? But this episode is to literally give an outlet to victims, whether men or women, and to share, like my sister mentioned, this kind of for me, I hadn't even thought about this aspect of DV.
Right.
This was new to me. It might be a little naive of me, I guess that's where I just thought, people report it, it gets handled.
But that's a good point, because that's what a lot of people think.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's important to shed light on, it's the same way as with the other cases we've covered, right? A lot of times the police just get it wrong. Yeah. However, in my professional life, I have seen there needs to be a lot more education on behalf of the police department when they are encountering victims of DV or SA. The same goes when they're working with, whether CPS or APS. They need to be educated on policies and procedures and best practices when dealing with these certain vulnerable populations, because I have seen some things that certainly are just raise my brow, and I'm like, is y'all for real? So there, I know in my area where I live, I believe they're working on getting maybe a liaison for the police department or some continuous education courses, because they are the police, y'all, and this is nationwide, are still using outdated interrogation techniques, okay?
Yes.
The one that was mentioned in this episode. And I don't know if this is going to be a trigger warning for anybody on anything we discussed today. If you're been a victim of DVSA, we might have should have said that in the beginning, but I apologize. So if this is triggering for anybody, by all means, take care of you first. But in the episode, they mentioned the read technique. Okay, for those of y'all who don't know, the read technique is literally a 9-step process that they use when they're interrogating anybody, whether it's a victim or a suspect. My first thing is, how you go to interrogating a victim? My best case practice is believe them until I have a reason not to.
And then also, there was a point made in the documentary where they were treating the victim as the suspect right off the gate.
Yeah.
The actual suspect was not questioned like a suspect. They were treated as if it was just
a
being
good old,
questioned.
like, you know,
Not like an interrogation, but you can see the victims were like interrogated. And let
yes,
me just keep it real, interrogated, but I would say more so intimidated than
yeah.
interrogated. Yeah.
And there was a gentleman who was working with this lady throughout the documentary who put this together. I think the lady's name is Ray, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
There was a gentleman working with her, and he shed some light on some things as well. And he made notice that, you know, a lot of these investigators and detectives that are working these cases may already have 30 plus cases. DV and SA are the most difficult cases to prove or to find evidence on. So a lot of times it's easier for them just to shut and close it. If you get them to recant, or you talk them out of their allegations, and get them to recant or backtrack, it's easier for you to shut and close the case, and there you can move on to something else because it requires a little more work.
But does it though? Because in my head, and we covered a case like this a couple weeks ago where we had a woman that was essayed, two women that were essayed in their home. And one lady said, you know, the cops had questioned him. They did DNA tests and they found out he wasn't a match. But before she figured out he wasn't a match, she was headed to this man's house to kill him.
Yeah.
So, like, is it really? I don't understand that logic of them saying, you know, of them trying to like just hurry up, wrap cases up to get on to the next. But like, you always open the door for future crimes, like in this case. Like, yes, you know, you have the essay, but what if the victim does not get justice and they want to retaliate? So like, and I totally get it. Okay, let me start off there. I totally get that. Like, especially when you're going to the police who are supposed to protect and serve. Okay? We have so many, we can go down a rabbit hole of times where the police, you know, you in small towns, you know, you end up uncovering this whole scheme, police are dirty. Like, I mean, that's across the nation. I can't speak for any parts of the world, but this nation, right? And you think, right. And you would think the police are safe to go to, but reality, that's not always the case. And it just ticks me off because that's what they're there for, to protect and serve.
Protect and serve, but it's always when it comes to DV and SA cases, they don't know because, you know, it and a lot of, okay, so let me say this. DV and SA oftentimes doesn't look like what we think it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just say that, because there was an account of one lady in this documentary who was actually partying with some gentlemen, having a good time. She's in college. She letting her hair down. We all done been there. All I did was party my freshman year. Now I still got my grades done, but all I did was party my freshman year. We all been there. Like, let's be real. So she's having a good time. She goes to college, out of state, partying, yada yada yada. Those gentlemen, one of them then decides, one was the lookout and the other one decided to essay her. So the police flipping on her and say, well, wasn't you partying with them, da da da? Just because I party with two guys does not mean I gave them consent to sleep with me or to essay me.
And
how do you get that out of that? Like, no means no. You can, and I want to make it clear, you can be into a person, man or woman, up until the point you get in the bed. It don't matter. Or you get wherever y'all going, and if you say no, it stops there.
Exactly.
That's it.
Well, and what I didn't like when I was watching the documentary, how the cops were feeding the victims and the supposed to be suspect basically the story. So it's like the girls are already like confused. They know what has happened. You know, they're nervous, scared. But, you know, you have the cops feeding them this story or trying to like push this narrative on them for them to just confess, because, you know, in reality, some of these girls were under the influence of alcohol. You know, they are, you know, they can remember some details. They remember, you know, the essay or the, you know, but they might not remember all the details. So, you know, you have a cop coming in, you know, saying that this happened, and, you know, you're confused and it's frustrating. Like, and that really what upset me, because I was like, you're intimidating these women into admitting things that did not happen.
And then they're lying to them. So y'all know the cops can lie to y'all.
Yeah. Like these cops were going out of the room, the interrogation room, for like 6 minutes, coming back acting like they had mounds of evidence built on these girls to prove that they're lying.
And they don't have anything. It was disgusting because in one case they told this girl they had video footage that she lied. They arrested her, locked her up. Then her lawyer kept requesting the footage. They didn't get the footage till years later, and it wasn't even them that was on the footage.
Yeah,
it was footage like this girl.
Excuse me. Even when I watched the video of who they said it was her.
Yeah.
The woman and the actual victim and the woman in the video look completely different. I was not there. I have never seen the girl on the episode. I think her name was Emma.
It sounds right.
I think it was Emma. Forgive me if it's not Emma. But it looked nothing like Emma. Like, I have never seen Emma face to face or at all. I just seen her on the dock.
Even back then and even when they look, even now, Emma has been a bigger girl. Now, she's a dancer. She's, she's beautiful, but she's a bigger girl. The woman on the video was slim. You don't need to see her up close to tell that from a mile away. That's not her. Even the man she was with does not resemble the two men she was with. Yes. They had a video of Emma and another girl partying with these men, laughing, talking, da-da-da. You can clearly tell that video does not match the one where they tried to say, well, you went to the car with him. Mm-hmm. And like I said, even if she did go to the car with him, if she got in the car, she said, no, it stops right there.
Yes, because, there's a lot of people that push the narrative. Well, if you put yourself in that situation, then what are you acting for? I hate that. And if anyone says that in my presence, I check them real fast. Because exactly. I don't care.
Hey, you ain't even nobody I want to be around, because if you think like that, you out here doing that.
You can't be in my circle, because people in my circle, it's a safe space. And like, if one of my people, I don't care if me and you are the closest, like anybody going through something like that, I'm standing 10 toes down for you until you get justice. Because like, it's so many people who don't have people like that in their circle. Like, and it just frustrates me because like when you see, because I don't know where her friends got to after that. That was a question I had, like where her friends got to. Because the friends will be able to, that's why I say, keep good people in your circle, because like where her friends got to.
She was new, had just got to that college campus. You can't really call everybody your friends, because the people I was partying with in college, I don't consider them my friends. There were some people, because I went to college out of state my freshman year. I ain't know them people down there. I didn't know them people down there. But you have to socialize. Like, I had a little social life. It wasn't the greatest, but I had a little life. I was going out to frat parties, the sorority parties, whatever, because I made friends, AKAs. Now, when I left, I ain't talked to nobody from down there. I can't even remember half them people's names. Mm-hmm. So she, but see, you have to be careful about who you go out with, because I'm gonna tell you a situation about one of my roommates when I was down there. Yeah, she went out with a girl she considered her friend. I knew, and my other roommate knew, this girl was a bad influence. They got this girl so drunk that they had to carry her back into the room. And she was not even able to stay in her bed. She was so out of it. I ain't never seen nobody that drunk in my life. She was so out of it. Her eyes was rolling to the back of her head. They said she had been on Everclear. Your so-called friend came and dropped you off. Her and some dudes carried you and had to lay you in the bed, and then they took off. And I said, so who babysitting her? Because not me.
Anything could have happened to her. Like,
anything could have happened.
Like, she could have, I don't want to get graphic.
I just say that everybody ain't your friend. Yeah. Because you got her this way and bring her here for her to then become mine and my other roommate's responsibility. Absolutely not. Yeah. And I used to love her to death. Matter of fact, I think I remember her name. Her name was Melissa. Me and Melissa went and got piercings together, okay? She was real cool. But Melissa just had a bad judge of character in that particular girl. thinking that was her friend. Because how you let her get pissy drunk, bring her back to the dorm, and it's me and my other roommate responsibility to watch her? Absolutely not.
Yeah, but I was in that situation in college. There was a girl that had a little too much, and her friend got pissed at her and left. And the thing is, though, in that situation,
your friend in that situation, though.
Yeah, and me and that girl wasn't
a friend, and you done had too much. First of all, I'm gonna probably stop you before you go any further.
Yeah,
but I'm not taking my eye off you.
Yeah, I'm just the type of person, like, once you're with me, we're together. We all leaving together.
We living together.
First things first, and I don't care how drunk.
You mean that because when we were in Punta Cana, and my husband down there in Punta Cana, y'all, my husband thought he was gonna take off with me down there. My fake husband in Punta Cana, hey Felix, he thought he was gonna take off with me down there. My sister said you can talk to her anywhere around here.
Exactly. And that's exactly what I said.
She said anywhere within eyesight. I said, oh baby, I wasn't going nowhere with this nigga. No,
listen, he thought. Listen, I'm a nice going girl. Like, don't get it twisted. I be very calm on the podcast because I try to be a good girl. But when it comes to my girls, whether it's my sisters or my best friends, it does not matter. I'm going to stand 10 toes down, like I said. And like I told Felix, hello, brother, wherever you at, he wanted to take her somewhere. I said, oh, hell no. I said, if you going to talk, we all going to talk.
She's not going anywhere out this resort.
And I stood 10 toes down.
And I was like, no, I'm not going to go nowhere with you. I said, Anyway,
immediately no, and I meant that. But anyway, go ahead.
That's never gonna happen. But I say all that to say that's just how we're built. Like, if you're with me, I'm gonna make sure you good. I'm not going to let anything happen to you. Like, we here. Like, I'm a girl's girl to the core.
Yeah.
And even the guys in my circle, I'm looking out for you too, and I know they look out for me. Like, it's never none of that. Like, I could not just abandon somebody I care about and love.
But I've been in that situation. Like I was saying, I had a girl that I was cool with. We weren't even like friends. We were just cool. Her best friend got mad at her because she was like drinking and stuff. But my thing is, before she got bucky buck wild, where were you to say, all right, chill? Now, granted, if she, had got, started wilding out and you tried to stop her and she didn't, that's another conversation. Mm-hmm. But I just feel like as a friend, you should have never left her.
No. Absolutely not. That's insane because anything could have happened. And the first thing the police are going to say, well, you shouldn't have been drinking that much.
Yeah.
Or you shouldn't have did this. You shouldn't have did that. That's why I need y'all to understand. Because I see a lot of people say, especially when it comes to victims of DV, well, why didn't they just leave? Don't you know they are at the risk of being unalived the most?
Yeah. And then it's like, there's this mental health component of it. Like, there's this, it's trauma.
Yeah.
And sometimes, they just can't like break away. They end up going back because it's the cycle, honestly. So you can't blame the victims.
There actually is a cycle. I forgot the name of it, but I learned about it, and part of that is the honeymoon phase.
Yeah.
And your abuser starts talking that talk, they love to love bomb and stuff like that and reel you back in, and then it may last a couple of days up to 2 weeks max, and then you right back at it, and then they apologize again, and then they gifting you and this, that, and the third. Like, it's hard for and then especially if it's financial abuse, which I think now they call that economical abuse.
Yeah.
Financial, and you have children. A lot of times these men, I don't hear about it too much with women. These men will put you in a position to where you solely have to depend on them for a means of, and that's controlling.
That's why, a lot of people you do you, okay? Every man ain't the same. I get all of that, but you have to be careful just like wanting to be, it works for some. I'm just saying, this is my opinion, all right? There are some men who set you up like that.
Yeah.
Okay? For them to keep you under control so that, if he get gone or whatever, you can't survive without him. You can't you have to go back to him because that's your only way. So I don't suggest any woman not be able to know how to make things work for themselves.
Right. And I hate to bring up the whole, oh, I'm going to pay 100% of the bills, I'm going to pay 50-50 debate, because honestly, it's different from one couple to the next.
Right.
However, in my experience, in the dudes I've talked to that tell me they're going to pay 100% of the bills or whatever, and I don't mean talk as in like, relationship. I'm just saying when you're getting to know someone, it's a means of control behind it.
Yeah.
And the more I get them to talk about that piece, the more I get them to indulge. Because men, they're the messiest person I guarantee you it's a man.
Yeah.
Men love to talk, y'all.
I learned that so many times in college because I'm not going to put my business out there. But,
yeah.
You think that, a conversation or something is safe between you and that person? Yeah. Men talk more than women, believe it or not.
The messiest person I guarantee you is a man.
It's a man.
But you get them to talk more and more. Once you get them to open up and get them to talk, and you just prod a little bit more in behind it, because a lot of times the guys I'm talking about, they throw that out there thinking that's gonna automatically reel me in, and thinking okay, I can just take a load off. Would it be good for somebody to pay all my bills? Absolutely. But what comes with that? And what I always got was, I don't understand why Black women need control anyway. It's not that I need control, but why do you feel you need to control me?
Well, and listen, I caution, because men love throwing around this whole conversation. Oh, you're gonna grow old alone, and like statistically, and if you don't believe me, Google it. All right. Mm-hmm. Statistically, who is filling nursing homes is
y'all.
me.
It's y'all.
Y'all. They say, oh, you're going to grow old, have a bunch of cats and all that. It's y'all.
Y'all the ones in the nursing home and nobody coming to see you. And I know that from personal experience, because I used to work with the elderly in the nursing homes and stuff.
Yeah.
I know that from personal experience. Y'all are the ones in the nursing home growing old. Your children ain't coming to see you. Your wives ain't coming to see you. Ain't nobody coming to see you.
Yeah. I did, like, when I did my internship in college, and I did it with the elderly population as well. Yeah. And like, you don't know how many mean old men I met. Kids didn't come see him. Matter of fact, a health emergency.
Ain't got no emergency contact.
No emergency contact. And you like,
somebody have to appoint you a guardian by the state. Like, because
and at that moment, I was acting like, well, why? And then I was like, as I got older, I was like,
ain't nobody come to see you, Otis.
Yeah. That was a lot of the case most of the time. But I said all that to say, women just have to be very careful about, like, wanting that life. Like I said, is it every man? No. No, not for a chance.
Not gonna do it.
Yeah.
They don't want to control you and just want you to exist and live. It's like, that's the kind of man that you need.
Yeah.
If that's what you're looking for, now me, I want what God wants for me, okay? But if you encounter a man and say he's gonna pay all the bills, don't just take it at face value. Dig a little bit. Mm-hmm. And if that's the type of man that he still lets you be you, exist in your femininity, and don't want to control you in everything you do, go for it.
And who don't have you out here looking crazy?
Right.
Because you know how many people I've had, like, brag on that man or whatever, you know what I mean? And then that man is doing them, like, absolutely dirty in the back.
Like I just listen. I've seen it. Doing them like a dog, and I be feeling so bad because you want to tell them, because most of the time they don't know. Yeah. Or sometimes they do know and they just accept it and they just okay with it because he paying for everything.
Yeah.
But even ones that ain't paying for anything, they doing y'all like dogs out here, and I just want to tell them so bad, like, because they be so happy. The women just be so happy and bragging and, oh, I got this man and taking pictures, da-da-da-da. Whole time, that man laid up with 50 more women and a nigga.
Yeah.
I'm just being real. It's 2024. This is what's going on. This is what's going on.
To keep it real, I just sent my sister a video about that. Yesterday, today, I can't.
50 more women and a nigga.
Yeah.
Y'all got to be careful out here.
You do.
But we say all that to say this control is a driving mechanism behind DV.
Yes.
As well as now with SA, it's slightly different. And another thing with SA, it's also kind of difficult to build evidence and build a case against the perp.
Yeah.
If the victim, which they may, I think there's been a word change. I think they want to be referred to as survivors.
Yeah.
Survivors of SA don't always want to have their names on the kit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's handled a bit differently. First of all, it has to be completed by a SANE nurse, which is the SA nurse examiner. For those of y'all who do not know, if it's anonymous, then they just hold on to it for X amount of time. But I don't think the people can really do much with it, the police, if it's anonymous, as opposed to it not being anonymous. So that plays a factor as well, because you got to think, like, if we look at cases like this with the DV victims on this docuseries, they were re-traumatized all over again by the police.
Also, another trend, to add on what you were saying, another trend is most of the victims know their suspect, like the suspect most of the time. So it's easy for the police to flip it and say it's consensual because you know this person. A lot of the cops did that in the documentary. They just flipped it around like, well, are you sure it wasn't consensual?
Then y'all go to school together. Y'all was in college together. Then you have a crush on them. It does not matter.
Yeah.
If I had a crush on this man and I was flirting with this man and he took advantage of me, it does not matter. It stops there. So it's not innocent until proven guilty. It's guilty until proven innocent.
Or I don't care if you laid up with this person one time and you decide, I don't want to do it this time, and you said no. No means no. It does not matter the circumstance. No means no. Say it with me. No means no.
No means no. And another thing that has been kind of, I don't want to say on the rise because I don't have statistics behind that, but it's been on my radar lately, is how married couples, whether man or woman, are being SA'd. Yeah. Just because you're married does not mean you automatically own your spouse. You don't own their body. You don't have rights to their body whenever you want it. If they say no and you continue to proceed, that is SA.
Yeah. Yeah.
It don't matter if you married.
Yep. That's an aspect that people don't realize either, because there's this,
and that's insane to me. Like, my body, my choice.
Now, but there's a lot of situations like that.
And then on the flip side, sis, you have those men and women who are very, letting their freak flag fly. They
out that's okay too.
The 304s, and it's okay, because at the end of the day, you choosing that. But the minute you say that you don't want to with somebody, it stops there. It don't matter what your history is or what your mileage is. Mm-hmm. If you say no, that means no. I don't care if you man, woman, boy, or girl.
Yeah. And also another aspect, she or he may have said no to you. Right. And it's okay if they said yes to somebody else, but just because they said yes to somebody else doesn't mean you don't get a no.
That's it. And it's like a lot of people can't handle rejection. Now, I'm going to say men because that's who I have experience with. I ain't been flirting with no women, so I don't know nothing about what women do. So don't say anybody being biased. I'm just going off my personal experience. A lot of men cannot handle rejection.
Yeah. To keep it real, that's all I'm saying.
That a lot of them cannot handle rejection, because I be rejecting men like I don't know what.
It's a hit to their ego, definitely.
Yeah, and what's crazy is I'm never even disrespectful with it. It does not matter if you're respectful or disrespectful. It's a character flaw in them. They do not know how to handle rejection. Now, me personally, I don't recall ever being rejected. I can't say how to handle that. Look at this. I don't recall being rejected. Look at this.
It's just to keep it real. I can remember being rejected a time or two. I mean, I don't get it. I don't get it. But
I was ghosted. But I was ghosted by a man I had already had. So he came back. So it was like, I don't count that as rejection, because you know what I mean? So I'm not being cocky. I'm just really trying to think of a time where I've been rejected and I can't recall.
I have been rejected before. I'm married now, so it don't even matter. They don't
Right.
even matter. But
Period.
I have been rejected before. And it wasn't, I didn't feel the urge to like harm them or like
Or cuss them out or do
or
nothing.
anything. I just was like, okay, and kept going. Like I didn't feel the need to like retaliate. Honestly, this is my first time admitting it publicly because I don't care. I don't care anymore. But yeah, I have, but never have I felt the urge to like hurt them, harm them, try to force myself on them or anything like that. Never have I felt like that.
Like now I've been rejected by celebrities, okay? And they just leave me on red. But because you know one thing about me, I don't mind every now and then shoot my shot, especially with Chris Brown. But anyway, so listen.
Can you pause? When did you shoot your shot at that man?
Huh?
When did you shoot your shot at that man?
Do I never shoot my shot?
So you're always in his DMs. Is that what you're saying? We're gonna talk about that because this is deeper than I thought.
I have to do it anything.
This is deeper than I thought. I thought this was so like, hee, look at my.
Honestly, no, I'm never in his DMs like that. I have been what's the really tall guy from Charlotte who used to be the baby's security guard?
Oh, okay. I don't remember his name, but I know you're talking about.
I've slid in his DMs because I want to listen. I would climb that man like a tree. Then there was also another guy who went viral on TikTok. I was in his DMs, but shortly after he popped up with a girlfriend, so I was like, oh, okay. But you know, once I get a girlfriend, I'm just no longer interested. Like
that's how it's supposed to be.
You know, I can't. I'm a girl's girl. Like I'm a girl's girl. But I would like even if they were to say no or something. They just don't reply. But even if they was to entertain me and say no, I don't ever see myself, and this goes with any man. Because if I want a man that bad, I have slid some DMs, but usually it's nothing but yeah, okay.
Oh my God.
Even if they were to say no, like I don't see myself retaliating or saying nothing crazy. I'm just be like, okay, well you know, enjoy your day, carry on, da da da. That's it.
Yeah, like I said,
men are easy to get. Like to me, all you gotta do is tell a little joke. You laugh a man right out his drawers. Like, well, if you funny and pretty, got personality.
Well, yeah.
Half the time it don't even matter if you're pretty, honey. A lot of these men just want a big butt. If you got a big butt,
yeah. It's always a visual thing with men, though. It's always a visual, like. That's a conversation for another day, but yeah. Huh?
I have to say it starts visual because really you don't know a person. You're just going off what you see at surface level. So it starts visual, but then the more I get to know you, the visual starts to fade. You know, it's not the determining factor.
Right.
But even still, like it's just unhinged at the ego and the bruises to the egos. And I think it's a lot of these mama's boys who they mama just got them convinced that they the sun, the moon, and the stars. They alpha and omega, can't never do no wrong and don't never hold no accountability for nothing.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Them too. But we're going to flip it around too. There are some women who can't, you know, they think just because they're women that they don't have to keep their hands to themselves. Look at Michael Rainey.
Yes. That is.
That young lady, I don't know who she was. I think she was someone's sister or whatever, was trying to feel on him. And I don't know for sure because I can't remember. I think he did press charges on her. And the same energy.
As he should, because you had no business. You was clear. That man was clearly uncomfortable. People were saying he was laughing. Can y'all not distinguish between a nervous laugh? Like that was a nervous laugh. He was not laughing because it was funny. He clearly, the facial expression and everything felt violated. We all witnessed SA.
Yeah.
Like,
but another aspect too, sis, had he have like, this is controversial, had he have popped her ass in the mouth or or smack, like,
Yeah,
protect himself, he'd be wrong too.
he would have been locked up immediately. He would be
Yeah,
in the wrong.
yeah,
But keep your hands to yourself is the basic gist. I don't care
exactly.
if man, woman, boy, or girl.
Man, woman, it does not matter. Keep your hands to yourself.
Because you don't want nobody touching you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna tell you, some of these men ain't as lenient as he was. Some of these men will pop you because you
Yeah.
seen Kevin Gates kick that girl when she touched him on stage.
Who?
Kevin Gates.
Oh, I missed that one.
Remember, it was the whole court case behind that. A girl touched him inappropriately. He was performing on stage and he kicked her. And she tried to press charges, but like you just didn't essay this man.
Yeah, you can't. But like I said, people can only think of like SA one way, and that's men towards women. There is a flip side, and there are men who get SA'd by women. Like,
I need all of y'all to review your state statutes regarding DV and SA. It outlines and tells you line by line exactly what qualifies. And I'm telling you, SA is not just what we think it is or what you see in the media.
yeah,
Like, you just keep your hands to yourself. It's not hard.
yeah.
It's not hard at all. And it's still gonna be those that still try people and still take advantage of people. And then when people see stuff like this in this documentary where the police don't even believe them, it makes them less inclined to come forward and report, because we have, there's, incidents of the reported cases, but think of the ones that go unreported. And that's more common amongst men. Men rarely report DV and SA because out of embarrassment.
Yeah. Because, like I said, they only think of, it's a pride thing, and most people are like, well, you should want a woman feeling on you and stuff like that.
And that was some of the
comments. How it is. Yeah.
That's insane. Absolutely not. Like, I love black men. Damn, love black men real bad. Y'all, like, we don't have no rights to be touching them if it's unwanted contact. If he never said or gave you any indication that was okay, keep your hands to yourself. And if you do touch him and he tells you to stop or whatever, and I'm gonna let y'all know, that boy was in a freeze mode. You have your 3 fight, flight, or freeze. He froze.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's still unwanted physical contact. Like, I was like, why is this girl up here anyway?
But I only saw it briefly, and I was like, this man looks petrified. And if you look up the video and you say otherwise, you are insane, because that man looked petrified.
And I felt so bad for him in that moment. But, everybody just keep your hands to yourself. But it needs to be some continual education on behalf of law enforcement, because when these survivors do get up the courage to report DV and SA, you need to know how to properly handle that. They be using this cookie cutter ass interrogation method to apply to everybody. And this shit is outdated. This is from what, the 70s? Like, I don't know when it's from, but whoever made it, read it. That man. This is so outdated. Y'all use these cookie cutter interrogation techniques and be lying to people and having them recant and creating a narrative of your own so that you don't have to do your job.
Yes. That's what it all boils down to. Just trying to wrap up these cases and toss them out, get on to the next one, when people are actually suffering. Like, unfortunately, one of the young ladies in the documentary didn't get any justice. She was arrested. She was embarrassed. Because her assault was from a family, a boy, I'm gonna call him a boy, boy that was in his family that were very influential in the area. So that was a lot of pressure. And that's another aspect when you have victims coming forward trying to, say, this happened to me. When you have an influential person, whether it's small town or like a big, celebrity or whatever, when you have someone like that, it is very intimidating. And so when you take a step out and say, I want to report this, I want the police to know what happened. Sometimes, like, these influential people they come flying in, and it's just like, but unfortunately, the girl, Megan, ended up unaliving herself because this whole ordeal, like I said, it was a very influential family. She ended up having to relocate, relocate schools and everything. And she was just like,
got the whole town and all the kids talking.
Yeah.
And she having
so embarrassing. And that broke my heart. The fact that she, was going through so much, in that the police, I'm about to say the police could have been the entity that stopped this whole thing. You know what I mean? Had they have acted aggressively with this whole thing involving her, involving Emma, and the what's her name? Delaney. I can't remember. Sorry, sweetheart, if you're watching. I'm sorry.
The girl towards the end.
Yeah. Yes, her. All three beautiful young women. But for Megan, had the police intervened and did the proper investigation like they were supposed to, she would still be alive today.
Yeah.
And that hits a whole nother level of frustration and anger for me. I felt a lot of frustration and anger throughout this whole documentary. Because you have these detectives, like a reporter in the documentary, her name is Rachel De Leon, I think that's her name. And she is doing more investigating and spending more time on these cases than the police.
She don't get paid for this. She's a journalist.
She's just doing it because she saw this case on the news and it just like caught her attention, and she decided to start digging and do some investigating, and then one or two cases turned into thousands across the nation of victims been arrested and treated as suspects because they're, trying to say that these women are lying. They have arrested them. One girl, they even arrested her because they actually had to go through and did an R kit. They arrested her for that, for the time spent for this. They arrested her for that.
And I just want to clear their name. All of them, what they said happened.
Yeah. To sum it all up.
Sum it up, what they said happened. The police told they lied. Can you imagine? The police didn't want to be interviewed when Ray was trying to go around getting questions, asking them what happened. They didn't want to talk about it.
No, every person. It was so many detectives that she tried to contact who were involved in all of the girls' cases that she would reach out. I don't know how many times she said she reached out to some of these detectives.
No accountability. That is the biggest problem with people, period. No accountability. Just own up to your mess. You said that this was a lie and it was not.
Right.
It happened. It came out later. It showed it.
And there were a lot of particularly the cases we saw in the documentary, these detectives were hiding evidence.
Yeah.
They had to go through tooth and nail. Like I was saying, a lot of these detectives and police station, whatever you call withheld evidence pertaining to these cases. So they were trying, like we mentioned earlier, they were trying to say that this video they found of Emma, it was Emma and the guy who the possible suspect, and it looked consensual. Like they determined this was not Emma and that young man, but they ended up finding a video.
Yeah.
And it was like a totally different video, and it was Emma and two other young men. So
come to think of it, they hadn't even pulled all the surveillance footage from that area. They only pulled one camera.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. So how are you going to do a full, thorough investigation?
A neighborhood, and people got all kind of security cameras and stuff. Y'all ain't knock on no neighbors' doors. Y'all ain't do nothing, because when Ray went and talked to people in the surrounding areas, it was like the police never came and talked to them.
And it wasn't it was a very well lit area. There was plenty of street lights.
You could see her walking, looking intoxicated down the street with two gentlemen.
Yep. But they never showed that video at all. The only one you see is the person and the young man that they said was Emma. It was never Emma. But the video that they made the police hand over, that I think they had to sue to make them hand it over, that was Emma walking down the sidewalk with two men, which happened to be the suspect who actually, and like my sister said, I don't care, all of them are innocent.
All of them are innocent.
All of them, yeah.
What's disgusting is how they were, when they were talking to the suspects, they were identifying with them, talking to them like we boys.
Yeah.
You know this happened. And telling one of the girls like, oh, I know, you're a pretty girl. Oh, I know you, and then touched her thigh while he was interrogating her. It's like, you're a pretty girl. I imagine they did touch you with this, that, and the third. I'm like, what the hell?
That's a part of the intimidation thing too. Like, yeah.
So you trying to take the place of her abuser? And he thought he was so smart, because even when he sat down and interviewed Ray, he was like, I position myself this way so that I can do da-da-da. I'm like, ain't nobody, what?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And there were, one of the young girls who were, who was essayed, the man that they were interrogating about her case, they were feeding him his testimony too. So what happened? It was consensual, right? Oh, yeah. Right. Y'all were this. Like, and basically the young man is saying, yep, that's what happened. Yep. See, it wasn't that bad. It was consensual. Yep. And I was
like, it was basically closed-ended. He gave him his story.
Yeah, he did. And then for the young man to, be left in the room with his attorney, and basically his attorney said in the interrogation room, well, if she tries to sue, I'll just do ABC.
Yeah.
And that'll teach her a lesson. And I was just like, wow. And for this young lady to unalive herself after all of this.
Right.
It was very troubling for me. This whole documentary, it was very troubling.
Y'all go and watch it and let us know your thoughts. I just, in light of a lot of things that be going on in the news with, these teachers and the kids and everything, it's just very too commonplace for me right now for DV and essay and, all the things.
Mm-hmm.
So please go watch. Let us know your thoughts. Like, share, comment, subscribe.
Mm-hmm.
Suggestion if you want us to cover something, whether it's for Sisters in Crime with ShiandToy or the ShiandToy after show. We cut up a little bit on the after show. We cut up regardless anyway, but the after show just be a little more,
Yeah.
Because sometimes we have real serious things on Sisters in Crime with ShiandToy, so we can't, be too humorous. But let us know, y'all.
Yeah. But yeah, please hit us up for our after show, because I have things I want to talk about. But anyway, y'all, we're going to get out of here. Y'all listen, for men and women, okay, you don't play about yourself.
Right.
You come amongst people like this, whether it's your friend or what, it does not matter. You stand 10 toes down for yourself. Right. You report them. You do whatever you got to do to get justice.
Right.
Okay?
Amen.
All right, I'm getting out of here, because y'all, I got a tickle in my throat and I'm having a fit to cough. But
I got to get dinner. Love y'all.
Bye.
Bye.